Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I'm continuing my Disney movie marathon because, well, I do like watching these types of movies, and I figured I will continue doing this kind of a thing, folks. Alright, see, I'm just trying to continue my Disney movie marathon. Oh, here's my hand. Oop, get out of here. So that's what I'm trying to do, just build up my video stuff right here, folks. I'm going to be reviewing a live action film, folks, and that live action film is the one titled Disney's Tower of Terror, folks. Of course, I gotta talk about the plot of this particular movie, so let's dive right in, shall we? This particular film, folks, we get to see that there's this journalist whom was fired from the LA Banner for publishing a new story which turned out to be fake. He now writes for a supermarket tablet, if I'm pronouncing that right, and I guess you can say stuff get rather crazy as it continues. Now, the main character of this film is named Buzzy, and he's close friends with his young niece, Anna. But the thing is, folks, there's this old woman, this elderly, whom comes to visit Buzzy and explains that on Halloween in 1939, she was witnessing this particular event. She had witnessed an amazing incident in the Hollywood Tower Hotel when 5 hotel guests, and let's just say they pretty much mysteriously disappeared when they had entered this particular elevator. So on their way to a particular party, which was part of this club or whatnot, folks. So, of course, this gives them an idea to do a story on that. Basically, folks, that's the premise of the film. Yeah, it doesn't sound too complicated or anything, but that's fine by me. It doesn't have to be overly convoluted or anything. But as a whole, folks, I can say that this film was pretty good, folks, in a lot of ways. Yeah, I can say this was campy, very campy in a lot of ways, folks. And yeah, I think in some ways it does add to the charm of the film, folks. But overall, I can say this was worth watching, my brutal honest opinion, because altogether, it was a solid film, I suppose. Not my favorite Disney movie by any chance, but it was good, folks. It's a made-for-television type of a movie, folks. So yeah, because of that, don't expect this to have the biggest budget in the entire world, folks. But it does have its own little charm, of course. A lot of people did enjoy this film. Yeah, it has a pretty decent story, and even though it could have been done a bit better, I did enjoy this film for what it is. Yeah, every now and then I just watch this, folks. I mean, yeah, it's a bit childish in a way, and it's a pretty funny in its own little way. But for the most part, it does work out. I mean, yeah, okay, it does have its flaws. Sure, I'll give it that. But I guess you can say it does more right than wrong. I did like the lighting in this film. It does have pretty good lighting, considering the fact that this is an extremely low budget film, folks. Oh boy, what was the budget for this film? A shoestring? But again, for its worth, it's not that bad, really, folks. The lighting was pretty good. The lighting in this particular film, especially in the indoor rooms, they do its job, of course. So again, there's not much can really complain about it as a whole, because it does more right than wrong. And some of the acting was pretty solid, I suppose. I mean, granted, it doesn't have the best acting in the entire world. So this film is not going to win any awards for any acting at all. So yeah, folks, that's the thing. So yeah, I'd say check this film out if you're a huge Disney fan. I mean, if you're one of those Disney fans that want to collect a bunch of Disney stuff, then this is definitely something you could add to your movie collection. So altogether, it's a solid movie. Tower of Terror did get some negative reviews upon its release. But I do have to disagree there, folks, because of the fact that I did feel like this was a pretty good film, folks. There was some solid acting, a pretty good plot, just enough fear factor for the entire family. It make it creepy, but not overly doing it. So yeah, I can say that this film was definitely have some good scenes. The scenery was really good, folks. I guess you can say at the end of the day, this was a great feel movie for the kids and for the adults as well. Yeah, it's a little goofy, sure, but if you're feeling bored, folks, I guess you can say this would be a good way to spend some time, because this was, as a whole, a film that could show a good time, folks. it's a great feel movie, like I said a moment ago, because there's some actual effort being done here, folks. So yeah, if you're a fan of these types of movies, then I highly suggest buying this film. Yeah, it's maybe a little too campy is for its own good, sure, but the characters definitely help to make you believe that they are in some scary situations. And the final act of this film was pretty good. I'm not going to spoil you the ending, but it does have a pretty good ending, folks. It's a good movie with a good ending. The pacing as a whole wasn't too bad, folks. And it's pretty much what you might expect from a Disney movie, folks. And that's about it. Yeah, I mean, okay, it may not be the most original film out there, but it does have some good thrills and some good stuff for a laugh, of course. And it does succeed in what it is attempting to do at the end of the day. So if you're a Disney fan or just a movie lover in general, then this movie is for you, folks. Because, like I said a moment ago, I enjoyed myself and I felt that this was definitely a well-crafted film. Sure. And yeah, it's a family-themed film, folks. And me liking kids' movies is definitely a rarity. Which is kind of funny in itself because of the fact that I'm reviewing a Disney movie. So yeah, that's something alright. But yeah, folks, I didn't hate the movie, that's for sure. This film does have a heart-warm feeling towards it, I guess you can say. And so yeah, I do recommend it, of course. It's actually pretty good, folks, as a whole. And yeah, it's not perfect by any means, folks. No, not really. It's not. The overall plot, in a way, it's pretty transparent. It is pretty predictable. Like I said, folks, it's pretty goofy, sure, but it's fairly lighthearted. But if you're able to get past some things, sure. But I can say it's recommended. I mean, sure, it's cliched, and some things of the film more poorly executed. It's not the best film ever made. I'm not gonna say that like a moment ago. There's some things that could have reworked to make it better. Sure, but still, folks. Yeah, I can only say that this film is extremely scary if you're under, like, what, 12? But that's about it. Our Tower of Terror isn't exactly anything that's Oscar-worthy of winning. But it does deliver on its promises. It's very entertaining in a lot of ways. And it does have a creep moment, of course. And to this very day, I can say that they don't make family movies like this anymore, especially if it's a TV made for film, folks. Yeah, it's definitely one of the better films I've seen that's based on a theme ride, and it's definitely one of the better TV made films. Generally speaking, when I've seen TV made films, most of them are pretty bad. Really, really, really bad. Thankfully, this is definitely one of the better films made for TV I've seen out there, folks. And yeah, sometimes I want to see these kinds of movies. They just come off like a 90-minute commercial. Thankfully, this isn't one of those, folks. It's actually entertaining in a lot of ways. The script itself is pretty tight. It does have a pretty good beginning, middle, and end. And yeah, the main character, this journalist, he goes on this journey. And it's pretty a wide one, folks. Oh, yes, sirree. So, yeah, he pretty much has to speak about these 5 individuals who are mysteriously disappeared in his elevator after the hotel was struck by lightning about 60 years prior. So, yeah, so because of this, it's said to be 100. So, the main character wants to find out the absolute truth. So, he wants to go to this particular place, this hotel, along with his aunt. So yeah, folks, that's pretty much what the film is focusing upon. And it's not that bad, folks. It really, really isn't. I guess you can say it's acceptable for what it is, folks. Oh yes, sir. So yeah, it's better than some of the stuff I've made, folks. Yeah, it's made for television, folks. Yeah, I was actually quite surprised about that because usually these types of movies turn out to be garbage. So when I found out that this was a TV made film, I was actually quite surprised because of that. That was news to me. So yeah, folks, I can say that this was definitely a supernatural themed Disney film. Which isn't surprising because that doesn't come off too much of a stretch what the Disney Studios would do, since they have done these kinds of things before. So it's not too bad, I suppose. So I can say that it does have its own charm, folks. It's something I can say that it's memorable in its own little way, I suppose, folks. It did come on quite often in TV way back in the day. And a lot of kids, of course, enjoyed it, of course. And I'm just viewing this as a movie, folks, obviously. And I can say is that it's a truly fun Halloween kind of a movie, I guess you can say. So it's not that bad, folks. It really isn't. So I quite enjoyed it for what it is. It may not be anything spectacular, granted, but it gets a job done, of course. As I mentioned before, folks, this film didn't get all that positive reviews, but if you ask me, folks, I do believe that some of the criticism of this against this film is unfair and just plain ridiculous. For what it is, I can say that I quite enjoyed it, and yeah, and of course, it may not be the greatest film ever made, but it may be a little too tame for some horror fans like myself. But then again, it's not meant to be a hardcore gore fest horror flick like some movies out there. Like these movies, for example, folks. I mean, nothing against these movies. I do like these types of horror films right here, folks. But I'm just saying, it's not meant to be this kind of a horror film. I do like a good horror film, folks. So anyway, some of the dialogue is a bit cheesy, I can say that. Sure, but again, keep in mind, it doesn't have the best quality made stuff. Is it a bad movie? No, it's far from being a bad movie. It does more right than wrong, as mentioned earlier. But again, it's also far from being called a great movie. I guess I could just watch it every now and then, I guess, folks. If I have nothing else to do, I guess I can watch it. You have a boring day, a boring Saturday night afternoon, or whatever. You just want to watch a Disney film, well, just pick this one up, folks. It's worth your time. Yeah, folks, this one wasn't too bad. I quite enjoyed it. I do recommend this one. I know a lot of people out there would much rather see the animated features from Walt Disney, but I'll definitely say check this one out because at the end of the day, it wasn't too bad, I suppose. I quite enjoyed it, and I mean, okay, it is a bit cheesy, folks. It is a pretty cheesy, but it's a family movie, so of course, there's quite a few family films that are gonna be cheesy anyway. So that kind of a thing is to be expected. But yeah, it doesn't have the biggest budget in the world, but I did enjoy it anyway, folks. Yes, sir. So if you're a Disney fan and you have not have this film yet, I'll say get in your DVD collection, folks. And I do believe that this is out on Blu-ray as well. So you want to have this in high definition? Be my guest, or just stick with the DVD version. Either way, you're good. So, folks, I honestly did enjoy it, folks. I really did. So, I know a lot of people would know that we pretty much think about Disney, when they think about Disney, they think about animation. They don't think about the live action stuff that often, really. I mean, I know technically the studio just started off the animation with Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs from way back when. So, of course they're thinking about the animated features whenever they think about Disney. Which in some ways is a bit of a shame because some of the live action stuff is actually quite good, like this one. It's in here, folks. It says, you know, it's a thrill ride. It's in a lot of ways. I guess you could say it is. You just keep in mind this is for the family. There's nothing too scary or anything. I mean, it does get pretty dramatic. Sure, it does get pretty dramatic, but it doesn't overdo it. It doesn't become overly dramatic or overly scary. However, there's some scary moments towards the end, sure, but nothing more than like I guess you can say, it's like a G-rated kind of fun, I guess you can say, PG kind of fun, I guess you can say. But still, folks, Disney's Tower of Terror gets an overall rating of 7.0 out of 10. It gets a 7.0 out of 10 from me. And as always, thanks for watching. And take care. See ya. Oh yeah.